Welcome to the Guidance for Light and Sound Meditation video series with Mark from PureEnergyMeditation.com. This is video number 27 of 45. So let's take a moment to talk about being in the moment. It's a concept I think most of us are familiar with, and it's almost become quite cliched. Hey, people say just be present, just be in the moment. But they're absolutely right. I want to just break it down a little bit so we can understand not only how this applies to us in everyday life, but how we can really use this in our meditation to effectively become more at ease in dropping into stillness. So when we operate in life, we're operating in time. So time is stretching out ahead of us and the past is behind us. Some people see it left to right. This is the past and this is the future. But we've got a sense of moving through time. Now, the moment is right now. But so much of what's going on inside us is actually referencing either the past or the future, that there's quite often very little of our awareness in the moment right now. And I'll demonstrate what I mean. So, if you're sitting to meditate, as you sit down, you may be thinking, I've got to finish that work. Okay, I'll do it later. And then your mind starts going, okay, well, what I'll need to do in order to finish that work is I'll need to get these things together. And so you're having this conversation that's about something you started in the past and how you're going to fix it in the future, but you're not really present right now. And so a big part of meditating, especially as you sit down, is learning how to be more present and give less attention to the future and less attention to the past. From an absolute state of consciousness point of view, what some people call enlightenment or the source, love, from that state, which is real, by the way, it's not made up, it's not some abstract concept that you can never get to. It is actually something that you have the potential to realize through being for yourself. But that unity, if you like, there is no time there. There is no past or the future. Because if you think about it, if everything is right now, if we're talking about the absolute unity, enlightenment, there can't be time. Because if there was time, then there was a time before it, which means it's a limit. Or there'll be a time after it, which means, again, it's limited. Or even if there is time, then at any one moment there's stuff that hasn't happened yet, so there's stuff that's missing. And there's stuff that has happened but won't happen again, which means there's stuff that's missing. But the state of unity, of enlightenment, is complete. And therefore there is no time. That's why it's eternal. That's why it's limitless. Time only exists within duality. And so our mind is within duality, our emotions are within duality, and our body is very much within duality. And we experience time as a past and a future. And very little of our experience is in the now. And so what we're learning in meditation is how to be more now. And there's practical things we can do to achieve this. But let's just understand, what is it we're giving our attention to if we're giving our attention to the past? Because understanding that can help us to let go of it. And similarly, what is it we're giving our attention to if we're focused into the future? Because again, understanding that can help us to do less of it. So the past is all about memory. And for example, if I were to say to you, what was the front door like of the first house you remember? You would have gone inside and either brought back some pictures or what it felt like, or maybe seen a little movie. There'd be something going on inside you where you're accessing that information, and it can be quite a rich experience. And similarly, if I said to you, where do you want to go on your next holiday? If money's not a limit, where would you go? Where's your dream holiday? And you'll start to make pictures or have a conversation with yourself and have an experience that's projected into the future. And it may also be related to the past, because it may be, well, I remember that holiday in the past and I'd like to go back there. Or I didn't enjoy that, I'd like to do something different. So quite often what we're projecting in the future is also related to what we've experienced in the past. And again, within this, there's very little of us present right now. So memory is all about the past, and the future is all about imagination. So the future is imagining, and the past is recalling. So as we sit in meditation, there's going to be thoughts. That's natural. We can be more aware of, are they from the past? In other words, am I just replaying an experience? And is that stimulating me to now think about the future? And a classic way that people experience this is anxiety. If you think about it, anxiety is preemptive stress. It's saying, I'm anxious about what's going to happen. So I must be making pictures or thinking of things that are stressful, but they haven't happened yet. But I'm feeling stressed. So what if this goes wrong? What if this doesn't happen? What if I run out of money? And so the anxiety is projecting negativity into the future and then feeling it coming back at you. So you're anxious about something that hasn't even happened yet. And the memories that feed that might be from the past. So, you know, the whole anxiety doesn't belong in now, it belongs in the future. Fear and things like this. So I had an experience of a spider and now I'm scared of spiders. Well, that's to do with the past. I had my heart broken, therefore I'm reserved about relationships. People talk about that kind of thing. Well, again, that was in the past. What's happening right now is what's happening right now. So much of how we feel and how we think about things is actually completely nothing to do with what's actually happening to us now. It's all about the past, or it's projected into the future. So we can free ourselves up a lot from anxiety when we start to realize this and almost detach from the future to some extent, because the future is massive. We don't know what's going to happen, and you could potentially just be stressing all the time about so many different things, or you can just go, well, I'm really comfortable with where I am now, and from this place of comfort and stillness, I feel better prepared to cope with whatever comes my way. But I choose not to give energy to something that hasn't even happened yet, especially if it's something that's making me feel bad and anxious. Now that's all nice and good and theoretically very, very obvious, but how do we actually start to live this? Well, the trick or the technique is meditation. Because in meditation, as we sit down, we have an opportunity to become more aware of now. It's a bit harder when we're fully distracted in everyday life. But the more we practice it in our meditation, then the more we can practice it in our everyday life. So you've noticed, I'm not saying reject the future or ignore the past. It's about where you choose to give your attention. The way that you work as a person, that we all work, is very much what we give our attention to, we become. That's really subtle, but that really is genuinely the way things work. If we always give our attention to negative thoughts, we become negative. If we start to give our attention to positive thoughts, we become more positive. Similarly, if we give our attention to now, we become more in the moment. If we give our attention to the past all the time, remembering, regret, all these kind of things that hold us back, then we're just becoming more of that. More bitter, more upset, more closed, whatever. So it doesn't matter what you've done up to this very moment, because the only thing that's real is now. The past isn't actually real. The past is a memory. Your memory of the past is not the same thing as the event that happened. It's just how you recall it. And how you recall it is filtered through your personality. So it's not going to be accurate. It's going to be your version of what happened. So considering how attached people are to what's happened in the past, it's quite surprising when you consider that so much of what we're remembering is not even that accurate. So I say this to kind of help you, if it's relevant to you, to find a little bit more freedom from the past. So we're going to do a little guided meditate now, and we're going to explore just noticing more of what it's like to be now. And the more you go into meditation and sit in now, then the more you get from your meditation. If you haven't already done so, then sitting comfortably, you can close your eyes. And as you hear my voice, allow your attention to gently rest on your breath, breathing in through your nose and deep into your body, and letting go from deep within your body all the way back up and out. Just relax and let go. And whatever gets your attention is simply there to show you the difference between what is moving and what is stiller now. And taking another deep breath, just relax even more and allow yourself to notice whatever you're aware of on the inside. And the stiller you are, then the more you can just observe, being neutral, non-judgmental, so that the next thought that gets your attention is just a thought. And you can notice if it's about the past, if it's about the future, or if it's just a reaction to what you're noticing right now. And the stiller you become, then the more you can just allow that thought to be, without needing it to change or move or go away. Because a thought is just a thought. And taking a deeper breath as you breathe in, and as you relax and breathe out, then that thought can just go. And the more you are, then the more you can just be. And taking a gently deeper breath, moving more inside to notice the space between thoughts, and just be present, accepting what is and letting go of any expectations. And each time you notice a thought, just accept it. Be aware of if it relates to the past, the future, and then have the intention to bring your attention to now, that space on the inside, and notice how that is different. Just be present. And any time something gets your attention, just accept it. allow it to be there. And then slow down, becoming more present in the moment. Because the slower you are, then the more there is just stillness. And in a moment, but not yet, you're going to gently open your eyes and continue to be still, so that when you open your eyes, you're looking from this space on the inside. And instead of looking and moving, just continue to observe, to experience being non-judgmental, to enjoy being still. And as you take a gently deeper breath, then you can open your eyes and just notice. And anything that gets your attention is simply there to show you the contrast between what is outside and the stillness on the inside. And isn't it nice to know that you can be on the outside and still on the inside, just observing, just noticing, just be. And as you take another breath, close your eyes and become still. Now, noticing your breath and noticing that you that is sitting there at this particular time. And any movement on the outside and any movement on the inside, including thoughts, is just happening within stillness. And so the more you choose to give your attention to stillness, then the more you can be present in movement. And so as you wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes and become more aware of your physical body, you can enjoy doing it in a way where you do it from the stillness, so that in the next few moments when you open your eyes, you're sitting in the stillness, allowing that stillness to look through your eyes, so that you can enjoy being in the moment on the outside. Opening your eyes now. Okay, so now as you hear my words and you watch this video, having done that little guided meditate, I'm hoping you can start to appreciate how, as you slow down and give your attention to what's actually now, that you can be less affected by the future because the future hasn't happened yet. And because you're less affected by the future, then there is less anxiety or stress or worry because right now things are okay. I just want you to reflect on one thing. The qualities of being in the future or being in the past are always filtered through your mind, through your experiences. So how you're reacting to the future or how you're reacting to the past is very much a personal thing. And within that, there's always going to be judgment. I don't want that. I do want this. I'm scared of that. I want to move away from this. These kinds of pulls and pushes are going on in our relationship to the past and the future. As a contrast, when we sit in the present, because we're not being pulled by what's happened in the past or worrying or thinking about what's going to happen in the future, being in the present is a lot more aligned with love because the state of being in the present is non-judgmental. Being in the present is very neutral. There's no, I like this, I don't like this. There just is, this is happening or I am observing. The art of being present is also the art of aligning with love. And the more we practice it, we are becoming more able to just accept, more able to just observe and not react. And that's a really nice space to operate from. And it works both ways. So the more we practice sitting in the state of love, then the more we become present. So in one extreme, you've got people that are really aligned with love and are much more, they kind of have an ease of just going through life and not reacting so much to things and not being stressed about the future and going with the flow. And at the other extreme, you have people that are pretty much living completely in the past and completely in the future, but not in the moment. And in that respect, they're totally pulled by all these influences, which are all at polar opposites. And so there is no peace, and their life becomes a big drama, and it will manifest in the form of anxiety or bitterness or resentment about the past, when actually it's just stuff that's happening, and some of it's nice and some of it's not nice, but the stillness that comes from being in the present means that you don't have to be so emotionally charged and reactive to these things, and you can actually become more in control of what you choose to give your energy to and what you choose to let in and enjoy, and life just becomes a lot nicer. So it's not just a theoretical thing. The more you practice being in the moment, the more it permeates into the life that you live, and you can start to live a life that is a lot more aligned with love. And that supports you in your meditation, and meditation supports that. So do one, you get the other. Do the other, you get the same. So it's really down to, what are you giving your attention to? And are you in the future, in the past, or are you more just now, just being? So I'll leave you with that, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope you found it enjoyable, but also useful. If you've not already done so, then check out the first video that I did and then all the subsequent videos, because watching them in the order that they're presented, you'll get the most benefit from them. As with all the other things I do, including the teaching, MP3 downloads, articles and the ebook, everything I do for free. And I put it out there simply to help people just like you to get the most from their meditation. So please do feel free to share this video with others. And if you've not already had a look, then head on over to my website, where you'll find lots of downloads, useful articles, and even a free ebook. And most importantly, enjoy meditating and putting into practice these different techniques and things that we're learning. Thank you again for taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.